Joining us now, she is a two-time All-American at LSU, of course, an all-first-team SEC performer, has helped the Tigers off to a fantastic start. One of the best pitchers in the country. I speak of Sydney Berzon joining us here on In the Circle at D1 Softball. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's it been like being around this team, especially with the pitching staff? I know that you're now, you're certainly one of the pitchers that people look to now on the team. What's it been like so far through the fall and into the present?
I think it's been great. We have a great staff of five this year. A phenomenal incoming freshman who's just been great every day. It's been super cool to watch. I think the longer I've been at LSU, the more like I could feel the staff grow as a family, and I feel like we're a super tight-knit group. Even with new people, new faces this year, and I think it's gonna be really good for us for the season.
Tell us a little bit about your fellow pitchers and what people can expect.
There's four others other than me. There's Tatum Clopton. She is a transfer who came to us last year who had worked through some injuries, but is finally on the healthier side of things. And she has some of the best location I have personally seen from a pitcher. And it's amazing, really good spin. We have Ashley Vallejo, a transfer this year from McNeese, who her personality, her energy is great. She brings heat to the ball. Both Tatum and Ashley are opposites of me, so I feel like we complement each other really well, which will hold great for the longevity of the season. There's Emily Casanova. She's a fifth year this year with us, has been with us for a while. Definitely been growing through it all. I think this year is really going to be her year. She looks great at practice. She's got all the pitches, which is super cool to watch her. And then, of course, Jaden Heebner, our freshman this year, who has been getting, all the notice right now, which is rightfully deserved. She is a little ball of fire. I'm not gonna lie. I think she has so much to bring to the table. She's just a fighter, and I really think she's gonna do something good this year.
Yeah, you can relate to that because you were pretty a big time hyped up when you came into the campus of LSU. What advice have you given her?
Just, all the bits and pieces as things come up, like stay calm, have fun. Not everyone's perfect every single day. It's impossible to do that in our sport, and that it's going to be a whirlwind your freshman year. You learn so much as you go, and that's the importance of it. You have to keep growing as you play, and I really think she's gonna do some great things this year.
What have you worked on personally in your own game this offseason? It's hard to believe that you work on stuff when you've been a two-time All-American so far your first 2 years, but I know competitors like you like to work on stuff and can always get better. So what have you been working on?
Well, primary for me is it's hard to kind of nitpick at stuff, and that's my favorite thing to do. So I've been working to kind of perfect my mechanics. There's always something that can get better. That's a super cool thing about the sport. No matter how good you think you are, there's always something more to do. So I've put a hard focus on my mechanics, trying to tune it up so that like towards the end of the season when we're pushing the long games, long innings, like I will have my body in the best position to keep me going. And then I've looked at stuff like spin efficiency. How can I improve even some of what I consider my best pitches? Get breakier results, as coach likes to say. See what I can do and build from what I have.
Do you look at analytics, a lot of video about yourself to get
Yes.
to? Okay, take me through that.
Yeah, so I'm a big numbers, big video person. If you look through my camera roll on my own phone right now, just from Christmas break, I probably have half my storage is used from slow-mo of me. I learned the kind of, I was joking, say like the physics of the mechanics before I kind of learned to throw when I was younger. So to me, it's all trying to get everything in the right place to get the optimum result. So I do like to take a lot of video. I like to look at it. I like to break it down. I'm very hard on myself. I do like everything to be, ship shape when I'm throwing. So I do look at a lot of that. And then we have on staff, which we had last year, Zach Jermaine, who is our analytics guy. So he not only works with the hitters, but he works with us too. He does all the numbers and the reports for when we do live days or, just pitching on the field. And I get, gosh, every single number you could imagine from pitching coming from the equipment he uses. And so I like to talk with him, talk with coach, look at that stuff. Like, where can I bring my spin efficiency up a couple more points, like spin direction, break points. What's the trajectory out of my hand? How close do my pitches look at that last mark that hitter see? Uh, Down to the nitty gritty, and I love that stuff. I love breaking it down so much, and it's phenomenal that we have the facilities, the machines, the equipment, the people to do all this at LSU.
Was that something always something you were interested in, or is that just kind of evolved when you got to LSU?
So when I first started pitching, it was like that. My dad had bought like one of the coolest at the time slow-mo cameras. And the coach I'd been working with when I was real young, his big thing was like, getting the mechanics and your body into the exact correct position and looking at all that stuff. Because it was in the time when, people, you were asked at that age, like, oh, are you a speed or a spin pitcher? There was like that differentiation and that still in the game. And that was when, like, I was younger. I was like, I have the body. I know I'll probably be able to get that speed if I work hard enough at it, but I want to be both. I want to be speed and spin. And it took looking at those numbers, uh, looking at the mechanics to find a way to be able to do that consistently. So we've been doing this. I've been crazy like this my whole life with it.
No, that's fantastic. Oh, I'm gonna have to like talk. We could spend hours on this. We'll do it. We'll have to meet up again down the road and talk more in depth about that because that is so fascinating. I'm a numbers person and like to look at analytics stuff too for
Mhm.
trends, as well. You are from Buffalo, New York.
I am.
How does a kid from Buffalo, New York, end up at LSU?
Oh, I love to say it's a long, complicated story, but I'll give you the brief version. I was working with a coach out of Alfred, New York, when I was younger, and he was big. He knew the big softball people, Rich Boswick, Rick Pauley, the bigger names. And within one of the first few years I was working with him, Rick Pauley was holding a clinic in the winter in Indianapolis that I was prompted to go to. So I'd gone down there where I met another pitching coach of mine, Brandon Carr, who works for the Tennessee Fury Platinum X organization, that travel organization. And one thing led to another over the year, and I ended up joining that team. And that was really the first time I had gotten any type of college exposure. We didn't really know, softball's like, it's a game at home, but it's not big like it is, in the rest of the country. And early on, coach had seen me. I kind of came out of the blue and she had seen me. I got the nice little email invites to camp, and I was like, this looks super cool. And I had one of my first, like, impromptu camp tour visits, I think my seventh grade year, and I got here and I just fell in love with it. The way the coaching staff presents the place, the community, the culture, it was unlike anything I could ever imagine. And I knew right then and there that's what I had wanted to do, where I'd wanted to go, the people I wanted to be with, and it kind of all just fell into place as the years went along.
Was softball something you wanted to do since growing up? I mean, how did you get interested in playing softball?
So I have my brother to thanks for this. I have a brother who's 4 years older, and my parents, that you can put kids in sports when they're younger, and I looked up to my brother. I still do a lot, and I wanted to do everything he was doing, which was good for my parents because that meant only one ballpark to drop us off at in the summer instead of different sports. And so he started with baseball, and I was like, I wanted to do it. He was doing it. I wanted to do it. So I think around the age of 4, I was over playing t-ball, and as he got more interested in baseball, I stayed with the softball. And I was a big kid when I was younger. I'm not a small person now, and so you get to the point where you start the kid pitch, and they're like, "You're big and strong. Might as well start pitching." So then I started throwing when I was 6, I think. And you don't really know as a kid what things look like. I didn't really know at that time the grand scheme of everything, but we had people telling my parents, like, we think there's something there, and my parents loved that, find a passion, stick with it. And I loved what I was doing, and the dominoes kept falling, and here I am.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Good, wise decisions. It's worked out very well for you there.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, since you all, from Buffalo, are you all like Buffalo Bills fans, Buffalo
Oh,
Sabre fan? Well, okay, Bills fan. I knew.
Bills fans. We are hardcore Bills fans in my household.
Man, that's a lot of emotion there too, with all the
Oh,
history there going the family. So I mean, because their families probably followed them since the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas days, probably,
mhm.
and now here you are in
Yeah.
the Josh Allen era.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's it. She's all gonna say. She doesn't want to say anymore because it's
It's been fun. We love it. We love watching the Bills. It's one of my favorite things to do. Favorite things to do with my family. It's definitely a whirlwind of emotions every Sunday, but we stick through it. It's great.
As a Dolphin fan, I just envy that you have Josh Allen. That's all I got to say. I have nothing to
He's
add. I have
awesome.
nothing to add. Yeah. Did you have any players, athletes that you looked up to, or that you kind of mimicked your game into growing up?
So when I started finding like heavy interest in LSU was when I started watching them play, and the Ali Jasper, Carly Hoover era was like what I was first introduced to, and both of the both of them I loved watching. I still keep up with Carly and what she's playing now, and obviously we've seen Allie because we've played Boise State. But those were like the two people that I was in my head. I was like, they're both amazing, and I want to be both. I want to find a way to be both because they brought so much to the table. But those were definitely the two that really made me think like, okay, this is what I have to do to be at the higher level. I still ashamed to look to this day, check their stats throughout the season sometimes from way back, and I'm like, what were they doing at this point? Because those were a few World Series teams, and I'm like, if I want to help bring my team to the World Series, I have to have that fight, that desire, everything they had to do it. So definitely Allie Wall, Jasper, and Carly Hoover.
That's good choices there. I think Walt Jasper might have been the last freshman that was an All-American her freshman year, up
I,
until you
I
did
think
it.
so.
Uh, do you remember when you found out you were an All-American for the first time as a freshman?
Yes, and I was very surprised because I don't really like to learn how those things work and how those selections and all that work. It's too much for me, so I kind of just let it flow. And when things come out, and that season ended a little different than we would have liked to that year, and I thought, I don't know. I thought after that I was like, there's no way. And then coach called me, and I was jaw on the floor, like, are you telling me the truth right now? But definitely super exciting. I love giving the opportunities I can to do what I can and earn those accolades. I don't know. It's been great. Yeah, it surprises me every year. It surprised me last year too. I never expect things. And then things kind of just come out. And honestly, a lot of times other people see it before I do, and I'll get a text and I'll be like, oh crap, I better go check something. But just super cool stuff.
That's probably the right mindset to have. Not, don't even worry about it. Trust me, you don't want to know
Yeah,
how the process goes. It's a
no.
whole complicated deal. But hey, you've earned your accolades, rightfully so. Trust me, people would have been upset if you didn't get those All American accolades. I can tell you that. There, you mentioned Coach Torina obviously a few times here. She's your pitching coach, your head coach. What's it like playing for her?
It's awesome. I think the way she lets me work is unlike no other. She lets me tinker. She lets me do everything I want to try. Our relationship is very, very good, honestly. We bounce ideas off each other. We talk mechanics. We talk pitching, and it's a continuous conversation from the first day of individuals in the fall until the last day of playing. And that's exactly what I was looking for when it came to pitching in college, was being able to have someone I can work with that well, who will listen to me. I'll listen to them. Great ideas, great minds, and I couldn't ask for anything else.
Now, I've asked every former LSU player, current, even LSU players last year. I always ask, and I think you know where I'm going with this: the superstitious stuff. She's very superstitious, Coach Torina. Have you
Yes.
picked up any of those habits? Have you avoided it? Like,
I
give me
no.
the breakdown here.
I am personally not superstitious at all, and sometimes when Coach does things that I think is a little crazy, I'll call her out on it. One thing that comes to mind is I don't know where we were playing or what game, but it was last year, and I had one bumpy inning and then one good inning, and we always meet after the innings. We go over the chart, go over the hitters, and after an inning after the good inning, I came and I had stood on her other side as I did the previous inning, and she like physically moved me, and she was like, "No, you threw a good inning this inning, and this is where you're standing, so you have to stand here." And I was like, I don't think where I was standing helped me fix my stuff in that inning, but I'll do it if it makes you happy. But no, I am not. I have never really been superstitious. I'm a go with the flow type person. You know, you prepare, you work hard, and it should come together in the games. But she definitely is. When we have a lot of girls on the team who are.
Well, then they'll blend in with her there. But that's funny. So she moved you to the spot because
Yeah,
the previous inning that you threw well, that's where you threw well. So from now on, you're just in that spot.
yeah, and I thought it was super funny.
Now, I have to defend her because I'm as superstitious as she is, and I do broadcasting, and I have to sit in a certain spot. So I actually am going to defend her. In other words, we're both crazy people there, Cindy. You're the right. You're probably the more. You're smart on this one. We're not, but that's just. But that's isn't that what makes her fun to play with, though, to coach play for? Because you would run through a wall for her because she accepts her, you know, if you want to call it flaws or whatever. That's why all the players love playing for her, isn't it?
She's a very genuine person. You're not going to get anything fake out of her, and I love that. She'll hold to her word, and that's what you want. You want someone strong who's willing to fight as much for you as you're willing to fight for them, and that's exactly what you get from her.
What's your goals post softball?
Well, I don't really, and for goals, I guess I don't really know when post softball is. That I'll say that's one of my goals. I want to keep playing. I love the game way too much to think of an end to it. But I do, I guess in the years I begin to settle down, I do want to be a collegiate pitching coach. I have so much love for the sport, and I feel like I have so much to offer from that side of it. I just started doing lessons in these last few years, and I helped coach a Fury Platinum travel team over the summer. And that was kind of my like, do I like this? Do I want to do this for a living? And I absolutely loved it. And so I think I'm leaning towards that. Uh, Staying in the game, staying with it. It's just something I feel like I can't escape. I enjoy it too much.
I can sense that in your voice, and well,
Yeah.
you're playing for the right coach. As far as there's been a lot of LSU pitchers that have gone on to coaching, so there's a tradition there as well. So do you pick up things that she does and keep it in your back pocket for maybe down the road if you get into coaching?
Oh yeah. The way we run our bullpens every day, like she manages to come up with like something new all the time, which I love because you know you can get boring if you do the same thing every day. And so I take a lot of that. I like to think a lot of about that, like how to keep the bullpens fun but still productive. Different ways. You know, we have all the tools, every tool you could imagine. We have a hold of. Which some I'd never even seen before, but all that type of stuff, all the little bits and pieces of it to keep it fun, keep it interesting, try new things. Yeah, I've definitely made a mental note a lot of those things.
Describe the LSU Tigers 2025 version.
You said that, and one word came to my head, and it's gritty. I really do think with the youth on this team, which people were worried about, you know, we lost a lot of seniors, but I think the youth on this team gives us so much fight. Everyone's willing to fight for a spot, fight for this team, fight for everything. And I think our first few days back in January, we've been back. I don't even know what day it is. A week and a half now practicing, and it is just you can see the desire in everyone's eyes. Like we're here. We want to do this for each other. We've all worked so hard, and we're willing to do whatever it takes for each other to get us there. And I think honestly, the youth on the team has been great because everyone's pushing, everyone's learning, everyone's bought in, and I think it's a super cool culture that's being built this year that I really do believe will keep us fighting really late in the game.
Do you find yourself as a vocal leader? Are you a leader by example?
I would say I like to lead by example more amongst the team. I'm more of a vocal leader around the pitchers just because that's kind of my circle, you know. Those are my people. But a little bit of both, I'd say.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Who took you under your wing when you got to as a freshman?
Honestly, it depended on the part of the game, I'd really say the first thing that stands out is Allie Newland. She was my host on some of my early visits, and so I kind of kept in touch a little bit with her, and she was just one of those people who was never gonna let you fall to the wayside. She was there to help. She'd catch me at random hours if I needed it. She'd talk to me about the mental side of the game. She'd talk to me about scouting, like anything I ever needed, she was there for me consistently through it all. Even to this day, I'll text her with things, questions. She's over GAing right now at NC State, so she's in the brawl of it too. And it was really her who kind of kept me on track, kept me going, kept me happy and focused, and that
That's
she does
awesome.
that for everyone. She's a great person.
That's good to have. Good people to have around
Yes.
and stay in touch with. My last question to you: when people bring up your name, Sydney Berzon, what do you want people to say about you, the pitcher, that you want people to know? Like, how would you describe yourself as a pitcher?
If and I've said this before, if someone turns the TV on and they look at me, regardless of the score, whatever, I want them to see someone who's just having fun. That is my biggest thing. I like to stay so loose on the mound. I like to keep my infield loose. Like you ask any of my teammates, I'm always joking out there. I'm always trying to keep it fun, happy, but I really what I want people to see is like, yeah, I'm locked in and I'm ready to go, but they just see that little girl in me who's just still having fun. And I hold to that because that's what it is. There was one day, we talked earlier when you're young and you make that decision, you're playing this sport for a reason. And I really just want people to see like I have that fight in me because I'm fighting for that little girl in me who just really wanted to do this.
Well, you've done well, very well, and you're definitely. When I see you play, I definitely sense that it's fun, and it's fun watching you play. And I want to thank you for taking the time. I know it's a busy time, especially as a student athlete, so much going on as you get set for the season. But really enjoy talking to you. Definitely want to talk to you again down the road, especially in the advanced analytics. We'll go more into detail when we have more time on that. But in the meantime, good luck this season, and thanks for coming on here on In the Circle.
Yep. Thank you.